If you want to sing, start practicing. If you want to act, start auditioning. If you want to explore any creative gifting, today is literally the best day to start. Welcome to Creatively by Estelle, a podcast for creative and performing artists. My name is Estelle Averi, and I'm your host. Whether you're just starting or you're a pro, this show will help you feel inspired and motivated every single week along your creative journey, and will give you tactical tools and tips for fulfilling your creative goals and your God-given purpose as a creative person. You have gifts to give, so let's do this. Let's live creatively, and let's get into the episode. Hey, welcome back to the Creatively by Estelle podcast. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you just listening every day, every week. It really means a lot to me. So, thank you. This show is for creative and performing artists, specifically helping you start to explore and embrace your creative giftings, especially in the performing arts. So, I'm really excited to get into that. Last week, I was doing a singer series with mini episodes where I just reflected on little things I was doing every day to grow as an artist, to grow as a singer, and just to share like the ups and the downs, like little things here and there that were going on that kind of contributed to this goal that I have to really pursue my creative passion in the performing arts. So I'm wrapping that up today with this is like the last day, day 5 in the series. I'm going to reflect on this past weekend and also just talk about, things I'm looking forward to this week. And hopefully this encourages you. You know, the goal is really to encourage you that you don't have to take like one leap from here to the biggest stage in the world. You can start small. Just starting is something that I have been able to like just overcoming that first step of starting that takes something, right? And that's something that I've been able to do, and just like getting that momentum going is so important. And so I want to help encourage you to just really start and just get that momentum going so that you're doing little things on a regular basis, hopefully to eventually on a daily basis if that's your goal, so that you're really able to be working towards your using your gifts. Okay, so before we get into this last day of the Singer series and I reflect on this past weekend, I want to share a review with you. Thank you so much to everyone who's been leaving reviews on the show. It means so much and it helps a lot. It helps the show get boosted more to more people so that more creatives can be inspired and be empowered to pursue their creative passion in the performing arts and to start, using their gifts. So by you leaving a review, you are helping to hopefully reach another person who can then be inspired, who can then be encouraged to use their God given gifts. So it's really, really important and it's super helpful to the show. Like, this show is free, but that is like the biggest blessing you could give the show is to just write a review, to share what you think of it. So I'm going to read this review that was really beautiful. And there have been so many beautiful reviews. So thank you so much. Every time I read one of them, it really, really encourages me. So thank you. So this review that I'm reading is from someone named Man I Lovin' to Teach. Yes. Okay. So this was written by Man I Lovin' to Teach. And they said, "What a strong voice you have. So glad I could listen to these podcasts. You are inspiring me to never stop singing and get back to it. I stopped for a while more because I didn't think it mattered, but you have made me realize it definitely does, and I should be in my craft even if it's just for fun." Thank you so much for leaving that comment. That really was so inspiring, and thank you for the 5 stars as well. I love that you said that, yeah, you stopped for a while because you didn't think it mattered. And I completely understand that. And I think we've all been there where we're like, oh, it's not a big deal, being creative, oh, doing this thing that I love to do. But I'm really glad that you feel encouraged to get back to it and to start again, because it does matter. It really does. It does matter to use your gifts and to grow your craft. It matters to you because obviously if it's important to you, then working on it is going to encourage you, is going to make you feel inspired, it's going to help you mentally and emotionally. And then also just knowing that, especially from my perspective as the child of God, knowing that I am using the gifts that God has given me helps me feel grow closer to God, and helps me know that I'm working towards fulfilling my purpose on this earth that God has given me, because he didn't give me these gifts for no reason, right? He gave me the gifts so that I can use them, as a part of my purpose on this earth. So it's so important to grow your gifts, to use your gifts. So thank you for sharing that. I hope everyone is encouraged to start using their gifts, to start singing, to get back to singing, to get back to whatever your creative passion is. Especially if it's in the performing arts, like, you will love this show because that is what I'm all about here. So, and if you know that you want to get back to singing, just like this person said, and you want that guidance, you want that support, I have a virtual group coaching membership for singers, for aspiring singers, anyone who wants to start singing. It's musical theater themed. We get together and we do exactly what I did in this free workshop that I did a few weeks ago, where we got together, we did voice warm ups all online, it's all on Zoom, and you are muted the entire time. So you don't even have to sing unless you want to out loud, unless you want to, but it's a chance for you to grow, right? So we did voice warm ups, and then we sang through different musical theater songs um, that were suggested in the chat, right? So it was all like very interactive, and we're able to sing through musical theater songs. And what will happen is you'll get the chance that if you want to, after we sing through the song on our own, muted, and I'm the only one singing. Of course, I'm unmuted. And then after that, you get an opportunity to then sing. You can sing the whole thing, you can sing a part of it, and ask for feedback. And you get feedback from me as a beginner voice coach, and you get feedback from other people who are also learning. And you can all encourage each other. And by the end of that session, you've not only learned a new song, more than one song probably, because we would sing through a couple. You've learned some new songs that you can use maybe for an audition, you can use for a performance, or just for your own fun in your free time. And you've gotten to grow as a singer because you've gotten that feedback to then go back and work on it. And of course, you get the recordings and everything too. So it's so fun. So go to creativelybyestelle.com/sing if you'd like more information about it, if you want to look into it more, and to sign up there to be a part of next month's group, because I am so ready to get this started. So let me know if you would like to be a part of it. Go to creativelybyestelle.com/sing so that you can get into that group coaching membership. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to grow as a singer and learn new songs, and all that it takes is literally twice a month, 2 sessions a month, and you get so much out of it. And of course, you get the community, you get to learn, meet other people, network with other creatives. So I'm so excited. Make sure you go there if you know that you want to, just like this person who left the review, you want to get back into it. You want to make sure that you're being intentional, that by the end of next month, you actually have grown as a singer, right? So yay, I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see you there. All right, so let's get into the episode. I'm reflecting on the past couple of days on this last day of the Singer series. Okay, so Saturday was a really cool day because in the morning I got to have a beginner voice lesson with a client, and it was our first lesson. And the first one is always interesting because that's when you're really getting to know the person, you're getting to know what styles of music they like, what songs they're interested in working on, and really where they are vocally. And so it was a really beautiful session, just half an hour on Zoom, but I could tell by the end of it that they were feeling really confident, they were feeling really excited about it, and really ready already ready to book the next um, session. And so for me, as a beginner voice coach, beginner in like level beginner, but then also beginner in that, like, I kind of started a couple years ago, and then I'm restarting now, so I'm still kind of like in the beginner stages. It was really encouraging for me to see that, oh, she's really enjoying it, and I was getting really good feedback. And of course, I was able to sing along. We were doing warm ups together, and I got to do a little warm up for myself. And so it was so fun to be able to help someone else while also getting a nice warm up for myself, getting to sing myself. And of course, as it always happens, like the rest of the morning, I was singing, I had that song, the song that we worked on, stuck in my head the rest of the morning. Like, I don't know if anyone's a voice coach out there listening, does that happen to you? Because that happens to me. So I had that song stuck in my head the rest of the morning, but it was so good. And it was a beautiful time to see that, like, that, yes, it was kind of early in the morning, it was Saturday, but I'm so glad that we had that opportunity to sing together, and I got the opportunity to just open up someone else's eyes to the the beauty that is singing, and help encourage her to keep singing and to keep going and keep growing, just by taking small steps. And so yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then the rest of the day was, family events, things like that. So I didn't really sing that much except to sing in the car as I was driving, but that's every day. And then Sunday came around, and of course, I sang in choir that morning. We led worship, praise and worship, and it was beautiful. I mean, the Spirit of God was really, just really moving, and it was so powerful. And it was just a beautiful time. And so, yeah, this weekend was overall great. Overall, a little bit busy, a little tiring, but thank God. I'm really grateful that I got to do the voice coaching, the voice lesson. It was my second one of the month, and it was really exciting. And I'm also grateful that I got to sing and worship God through music, through creativity. So yeah, I think in in retrospect, looking back on this weekend and looking back on some of the things that I learned, I think the biggest thing that I learned, um, which is really the heart of this entire series, the Singer series, which is that it's the little things that ultimately make the difference sometimes, especially when it comes to pursuing your creative passion for the performing arts. It's the little things, it's the getting started, it's the building the momentum over time. Because in the voice lesson, like I was saying, in the voice lesson that I taught on Saturday, you know, it was only 30 minutes. It was only 30 minutes. And yet by the end of it, you could tell the difference from the beginning of the lesson to the end. She was already feeling more confident in her voice and ready to keep singing, ready to keep growing. Right by the end of it, you could tell that there was a difference in her attitude, in her mood, in her desire to sing and create. And all it took was half an hour, right? All it took was some warm ups, right? And working on a song and applying what we worked on in the warm ups to then applying it to the song and seeing how we can um, work on different techniques, different aspects of the voice. And so it wasn't like it wasn't like some huge ordeal. It was just a few small steps. And yet there was such a difference by the end of it. And that's just a major takeaway from this entire week, right? It's like if you go back and listen to some of the past episodes, I didn't do like huge crazy things every day, right? A lot of the days, some of the days were really mundane, right? There are just a couple things that I did here and there, but by the end of it, by the end of the week, right, I know that I've grown. I know that I've put in the effort. I know that I've put in the work. And, around all the other aspects of my life that I have to work around, right? And so it's just taking those small steps of action. And I know that I keep repeating this, but it's so true. And sometimes we hold ourselves back from the change that we can have and the growth that we can have just because we're expecting that we have to take some huge leap, when really, and at the end of the day, sometimes God is just asking us to just take one step of faith. Just take one step of faith. Just walk, one step into the water, out of the boat and into the water, right? If you think about the parable, or not the parable, but if you think about the story of how Peter walked on water, right? He just had to take one step and he had to keep his eyes on Jesus, right? So I think just taking those small steps, and they can feel like big leaps of faith at the same time, right? Taking a step out of a boat into the water to walk on water is not a small ordeal, but it is a small step, right? But it is a small step, and it can be one that feels like a really big step of faith, but all it takes is something small. So I think I hope that made sense. But I think the biggest takeaway for me from this entire week and from this weekend is that the little things do make the difference and do make a difference, and they because they help you build momentum, and they help you see that it is whatever it is that you're trying to do, it is possible because you're already taking the steps towards it, and then you'll start to see little outcomes, like small wins over time. And so I just hope that encourages you as you start this week. Have you started your creative pursuits? Have you started taking those steps? You know, have you started working on your voice, right? You're if you know that you want to grow as a singer, go back to the episode that I have on the 5 essential tips for singers, or you can go to the show notes. The link will be in the bio. In the I'm sorry, that was not right at all. You can go to the show notes. The link will be there in the show notes, right? For the 5 essential tips for singers. It's a free PDF download. You can also go back and listen to the episode. But those are some great steps that you can start looking into if you want to start to sing, right? Just small things. If whatever your creative passion is, what are some things that you can start doing? And by the end of this, you know what? We're going to do a little homework. We're going to do a little exercise, little application for the end of this episode. I want you to take a piece of paper, a pen, something to write with, and I want you to write down one small thing that you can do today to move you towards your goal of whatever creative passion that you have. What is one small step that you can take? What's one thing you can do to just start to pursue your creative passion for singing, for dancing, for acting, for whatever your art form is? Write down one thing that you can do to just start today, right? If you want to sing, start practicing. If you want to act, start auditioning. If you want to explore any creative gifting, today is literally the best day to start, right? Today is the best day to start. So write it down. What is it that you're going to do? And if you want to share it with someone to hype you up, DM me on Instagram at Estella Berry. Let me know what it is that you wrote down. If you want to share it in the Facebook group, you can go to join the Facebook community in the show notes below and join us there and leave it there, because I want to know what you're doing. I want to know how you're really applying this and taking those steps to move forward. And it's so helpful to have accountability. If you DM it to me, if you leave it in the Facebook group, I'm going to follow up with you. And then you'll have to make sure that you're doing it. And that's how we move forward. That's how we grow with intention as artists. So I just hope this encourages you and that you're able to really apply it this week, starting today, to take those small steps to keep growing and to keep making sure that you're building momentum for yourself as a creative and as an artist, because I want you to use those creative gifts. God wants you so much to use the gifts that He has given you. And today is the best day to start. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope this encouraged you, empowered you, and really gave you some tactical wisdom that you can apply starting today. Let me know if you do. Share it in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, go join the Facebook group. It's a community where we as creatives can band together and encourage each other, leave information, leave encouraging notes, network with each other. It's called the Performing Arts Creative Community now, because I felt like that was more focused in on who we are and where we're heading to as a community and as a podcast. So yeah, go to just go to join the Facebook community down below in the show notes. I would love to see you there because that way you can really start networking with other people. You can really start meeting each other and encouraging each other and have that accountability that we all need, frankly, right? So yeah, let us know what you're doing, what you wrote down that you're going to do, that you're going to start doing today to grow as an artist so that we can hold you accountable. And let me know what you think of the show. If this encouraged you, if this inspired you, DM me on Instagram, leave a review. Share this with one person that you know could be inspired, that you know needs to start singing, needs to start creating, just like you. Share it with someone else, and maybe you guys can hold each other accountable, right? So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have an amazing rest of the day and an amazing week. And I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Creatively by Estelle. I hope you feel encouraged by today's episode as you start this week. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to just share this episode with a friend if you liked it, or with someone who you think this could be encouraging to. It would really help the show. Also, if you really loved this episode, if you wouldn't mind going to Apple Podcasts and leaving a review and rating this show, it would really help us reach more people through this show and grow our Creatively community. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.